Heroes, it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, we're just gonna whack! The Wrestling Observer notes that those close to Charlotte Flair believe she'll return from her knee injury sooner than the 9 months she's projected to be out. That's great! I'm over the moon to hear that. I'm so glad to know that she's not, man, she wasn't gonna come back until October, man. I'm so glad that she's gonna show up a lot sooner. Man, now, I mean, well, listen, I can't see into the future. I don't know exactly when she's gonna show up, but I'm excited because, you know, Jade Cargill and Julia and, you know, all the potential New Japan wrestlers that she could start interacting with, all that sort of stuff, because that was my main concern. It's like, there's a lot that she was potentially gonna be missing out on, so, like, I'm talking as though she's gonna be back next month, but, like, you know, I want to be optimistic, and I want to keep, you know, a more optimistic outlook and, you know, assume that she's going to be back. Maybe, oh, Lord, now I have to think about the months. August? You know? Somewhere around, like, we'll say late summer, you know, early fall, somewhere around there. Yeah, October counts as like I would count October as like fall and September like early fall. So somewhere around like late summer, early fall. Hopefully that's when she ends up showing back up, and man, I can't wait to see her back. Next, for what it's worth, LA Knight told Chris Van Vliet on Insight that he took a pay cut to sign with WWE when he did because he was willing to bet on himself to turn it into something more. I would say that LA Knight is very lucky because he started out in NXT, and I'll admit at that point I wasn't even really paying too much attention to NXT, so I really didn't have my radar on LA Knight in the beginning. And then he showed up to the main roster, and that's kind of when I started, you know, learning a bit more about him, and that's when I figured out that he was Eli Drake. Did you know that he's the No Dummies Allowed preset wrestler entrance in the 2K games? I didn't know that, and I think Tom Campbell of Cultaholic taught me that, I think, so shouts out to him. But yeah, that's when I really started learning about him, and that's when I learned about when he was on TNA, and that's where the dummies thing came from, you know. And, you know, I was really getting into his character at that time, and then he started as Max Dupree, and that's when he kind of cooled off a little bit, and then, you know, the rest is history, really. He took off after McMahon left and all that sort of stuff, so, man, I mean, I wonder what would happen if McMahon really, like, sunk his teeth into him as deep as McMahon, like, really wanted to, because I feel like around the time the Max Dupree character was happening, that's when McMahon was on his way out, and if McMahon really didn't have to worry about that, I shudder to think that he probably... Now, listen, that's not to say that the Maximum Male Models aren't, like, doing their thing on the indies, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't think LA Knight would even be anywhere near the popularity and the star power that he's at right now, you know, given the circumstances that McMahon went through. So it's very interesting to see, you know, everything that, like, transpired and how everything sort of unfolded during that time. And, you know, I wonder what would happen, you know, if that just never even, if the whole McMahon situation never even came to be, you know, but it didn't. And now we've got LA Knight as one of the top stars of SmackDown, you know, so, yeah. Sticking with WWE, WWE claims there have been, quote, discussions over repackaging plans for Omos. Okay, on one hand, I'm incredibly excited about this because I can't wait to see what they have in store for him. On the other hand, I'm a little bit apprehensive because I don't know what they're going to have in store for him. I will say this, though. I know that I keep saying this, but it is a gigantic factor in the repackaging of characters and how matches go and how storylines pan out and all that sort of stuff, right? We're not in the McMahon regime anymore. So I don't have to worry about Omos coming out as like a big French fry. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about Omos coming out as like Akira Tozawa's like long lost son-in-law or something like that. Like, I don't have to worry about any wild and unimaginative and just storylines that don't make any sense, you know. That's the last thing that I need to worry about. I am a little bit worried that they're gonna have something for him and it's just not gonna be enough, but you know what, I'm sounding a little bit pessimistic, so let me leave that negativity behind and let me just look a little bit more forward, you know, in regards to this, and assume that it's not gonna be as bad as I think it is. I don't know why, I've just got this weird feeling that, like, it's just not gonna hit. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna bring, like, you know, like when Squidward put his hand out and nobody said anything and then SpongeBob mopped. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's gonna be like that. They're not gonna boo, but they're not gonna say anything either. So you know what? Let me just keep my mouth shut and wait to see what actually happens when he comes out. Next, there is speculation that Kaden Carter and Katana Chance could be known as the Twinkle Twins going forward after Chelsea Green and Michael Cole used that name for them on Raw this week. First of all, I thought that I was very confused because I forget what I was doing, but I wasn't 100% paying attention to the commentary. And he mentioned the Twinkle Twins, and I was like, that's a weird name to give Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Second of all, they're not twins. If I could just beat this over the head with the pedantic stick. They're not twins, okay? Third of all, the Twinkle Twins? Sorry? What is this, Winx Club? What are we doing? The Twinkle Twins? Twinkle? Really? Alright, man. You know what? Fine. You know, let me not say anything before I get my chest caved in by the keg stand finisher. Because, man, that move does not look safe. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I watched that move with such intent. With such... I don't even know how to explain it. Because, and you know what's funny? She dropped her knees on Chelsea. I saw it. She probably, man, it probably didn't hurt because, what's her name? Katana Chance looked like she weighs the same as I do, and I don't even think I weigh over 120 pounds. But, man, I don't like the way she drops. She does the lead. It's like the way Lita used to do her lead assault where she would just slam her knees on her opponent. I don't know. It just doesn't look safe. Either way, I digress. Twinkle Twins. Fine, sure. Not the greatest name, you know? A name that you probably think of when you first wake up or you're on the toilet, you know? The Twinkle Twins. Alright, man. Sure. Finally, Phoenix told Denise Salcedo recently that he thinks he'll be back in the ring, quote, soon from the injury he's been rehabbing. The Observer said his issue was a, quote, bad back, bad hip, or both. So the last match that he was in, it was the international, right? All Atlantic. One of them, it was the international championship match that he had with Orange Cassidy. And man, when I found that, I was like, man, it was that long ago? So yeah, he's been out since then. He's pretty banged up. Sucks to hear that, you know, it's either a bad back or a bad hip. You really, I mean, man, like I say, you don't want the neck, the ankle, the back. You don't want any of that sort of stuff because, man, you're gonna feel that when you get older. But yeah, man, not really much else to say. He's gonna be back soon. Good to hear. You know, hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. And I would love for him to make a speedy recovery because, man, I would like to have I forget what their names are. It's him and then it's Pentel Zero. I forget what their names are. Something, I don't remember what their names are. I completely blanked on the name. Either way, okay, I would like him to come back sooner rather than later. What do we talk about? Charlotte is coming back sooner rather than later. I'm incredibly glad to hear that, and hopefully she will be incorporated into some storylines, you know, with Julie. I know I keep saying that. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, her commingling with everybody when she comes back. Elinak bet on himself. Good. I'm a swore. That's what you need to be doing, all right? You need to be having confidence in yourself, and you need to be like, look, I know what I'm capable of, and I think I can do this, so that's what I'm going to do. And it paid off, all right? Man, there's discussions over repackaging plans for Omos. I'm going to be positive. I am. I want to give a shout out to all my fellow Homo sapiens. That's right, baby. He's coming back, boys. Let's go. Hopefully they don't do anything stupid with him. Okay, there's speculation that the Twinkle Twins, stupid name. I'm just being honest, stupid name, okay? Stupid name. Phoenix told Denise Salcedo he'll be back in the ring soon. He got his injury. Well, he's more banged up. And the last time he wrestled was a championship match with Orange Cassidy. And, man, he's been out for quite some time. And I would like to see him back sooner rather than later. Did I miss anything? No. And finally, Five Below Select says Kosha Irby is joining AEW potentially as Chief Operating Officer. He was formerly the Regional Director of Live Events for WWE. He was the Live Events Director for WWE in 2011 and 2018. And then he left. And then he was pretty much the marketing officer, the Chief Marketing Officer for a bull riding company, And I think he was a marketing officer for a football team as well, or for like a football organization. And then I think he came back to WWE, I think, and then he went to AEW. So, yeah, man, a very tenured member, okay? And if I'm flipping through the resumes and I see his, I'm for sure going to hire him. So, yeah, can't wait to see what he's going to do. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.